Hello all, welcome to my channel. My name is Mrs. Prajakta Bapat. In this videos, we are discussing buyback of shares. We have already discussed various things about the buyback of shares. That is, what is buyback of shares, how it takes place, what are the conditions for buyback, what are the rules and regulations given by Companies Act for buyback of securities. So we have discussed about this in the previous videos. Now today we will be discussing the steps to calculate the number of shares to be bought back. Now if you remember from the previous videos, we have already discussed that there are two things which are very important when it comes to buyback. First is how many shares you can buy back at the same time. So as a company, we can buy back only 25%, maximum 25% of the securities at one time. So 25% of the total securities which are outstanding in the market. That is one thing. And another thing is at what price I can buy back those securities. So that is called as an offer price. So these two things are there. These two things comes into picture when we go for the buyback of securities. Along with that, we have discussed three rules also. What are those three rules? First is, as we discussed just now, that we can maximum buy back 25% of the securities. Then after buyback, your debt equity ratio should not be less than 2:1. And we have also discussed about the amount, how much amount, total amount we can we can pay as a for the buyback of securities. So these all things, considering all the rules and considering the offer price and the number of shares, we go for the buyback of securities. Now, as far as academics is concerned, you have three levels of difficulties. The first level, which we have already discussed earlier, that is, see, whenever we go for the buyback, we require two things. We require offer price. Mainly, we require these two things. First is offer price, and second is number of shares to be bought back. So, if these two things are there, you can proceed for the solving for the question, solving for the buyback of shares. But when it comes to the level 2, that is difficulty level 2, they may not give you the number of shares or they may not give you the offer price. So we'll be basically discussing in this video level 2 and level 3 questions. So let me tell you first what are these levels. So first level is where offer price and number of shares both are given. So it's very simple, right, where you know how many shares I want to buy back and at what price. So you can directly start solving the question. When it comes to level 2, they give you the offer price, but they do not give you the number of shares. So typically in the question, they will ask you that calculate how many number of shares you want to buy back and at what price. So at 40 rupees, for example. So they will give you offer price. And the third step is where they will not give you the offer price and they will not give you the number of shares also to be bought back. So we have to calculate both the things in level 3. So let us focus right now on the level 2. Okay, so level 2 says that offer price is there and we have to calculate the number of shares to be bought back. So what steps are to be followed? There are total 5 steps given. If you see on the screen, there are 3 steps you can see, and 4th and 5th step is there in the next slide. So these 3 steps are nothing but the 3 rules which we have discussed earlier and which we have discussed in the earlier videos also. So basically we are following those 3 rules while we are calculating the number of shares to be bought back. That is the basic thing. So let us understand what are the 5 steps. And when these steps are to be used, when the offer price is given but number of shares are not given. That means difficulty level 2. So let us see. Now first step is 25% of paid up capital, that is preference plus equity plus free reserves plus security premium. So in the first step, we are basically focusing on total amount, the rule for total amount, how much total amount I can pay for the purpose of buyback. So I can pay how much? 25% maximum of what? Of paid up capital. Paid up capital meaning preference plus equity both. It's not a total authorized capital or so. How much is actually paid by the shareholders? that has to be considered. So preference plus equity plus free reserves. Now what are free reserves? Free reserves meaning any kind of reserves which are free to use, like general reserve, profit and loss account, dividend equalization reserve, etc. Plus security premium. These all things will be adding up. First we'll make a total of this bracket, and 25% of that is answer for the step 1, is the amount for the step 1. Okay. Step 2 is own funds minus debt by 2. So this is also one of the rule which we have put it as a formula. So own funds meaning your own funds, proprietor funds. So how you will get it? Simple thing. The bracket which we have calculated in step 1. Okay, before calculating 25%, whatever bracket you have calculated, total amount, paid up capital plus free reserves plus security premium, that is your own funds. So for example, this step 1, in the step 1, this bracket is maybe 50 lakhs. Okay, so this 50 lakhs is your own funds. So step 2, you will take 50 lakhs own fund minus debt by 2. Now what is debt? When I say debt, it is long-term debt. So you can have debentures, you can have bank loan, public deposits, these all things will come here. Okay, debt by 2. This is step 2. You will get the answer of step 2 after this. Now what is step 3? Step 3 is 25% of the number of shares into offer price. Because you have offer price which you can use here. 25% of the number of shares. So suppose you have in market, you have 1 lakh shares. Here we are not talking about the amount, we are talking about the number of shares. So for example, you have 1 lakh shares in the market, outstanding shares. So 25% of that comes to 25,000. So this time, at one time, I can buy back maximum 25,000 shares. So that 25,000 into offer price. So for example, offer price is 40 rupees. So here also you will get the answer of step 3. So in all the 3 steps, basically we are receiving the amounts in rupees. Okay, so these 3 amounts, after calculating these 3 answers, step 4 is choose the minimum amount from the above 3. Now what is the reason or what is the logic behind selecting the minimum amount out of these 3? So that we are following all the rules. For example, step 1 is 12,50,000. Step 2 is 10 lakhs and step 3 is 5 lakhs. So obviously if I select 5 lakhs, that is the minimum amount, it will cover 10 lakh, it will cover 12,50,000 also. Right, 5 lakhs is common everywhere. That's why I have to select the minimum amount. So step 4 is minimum amount to be selected, and step 5 is chosen amount, that is you have selected 5 lakhs upon offer price. So 5 lakhs is the amount which I will be paying upon offer price is 40 rupees per share. 5 lakhs you are going to pay total, upon offer price is the basically 1 share. How much I'll be paying for the 1 share? So 5 lakh upon 40, you will get the number of shares to be bought back. So here offer price was given, so we just calculated the number of shares to be bought back. So this is your difficulty level 2. Okay, now difficulty level 3, let us go to that. That is when the offer price is not given. The reason why I am covering this in one video itself, because it is almost similar. Okay, there is only one change, that's why I am covering it here itself. So when the offer price is also not given, what we are supposed to do? We are supposed to follow the same steps, only there will be change after the second step. So in the difficulty level 2, what we did is we got 3 amounts, right? Step 1, step 2, step 3. Here we will be receiving only 2 amounts. The reason also I'll tell you. Let us go to step 1. It is the same formula which we have utilized earlier. 25% of your total owned capital. You will be calculating 25%, you will get the answer for step 1. Step 2, own funds minus debt by 2. So own funds meaning bracket, step 1 total bracket, total amount minus debt by 2, you will receive 2 amounts. Now in step 3, in the previous level, what we have done is we have taken 25% of total shares into offer price. So we got the amount. But here we don't have offer price also. We don't have offer price, we don't have number of shares. That's why we cannot follow the step 3. Right, so what we will do is we will be receiving only 2 amounts here, step 1, step 2. Step 3 will be eliminated, matlab that formula will be eliminated, and now we'll be considering only 2 amounts. to select the minimum. We'll be selecting the minimum from step 1, step 2. Now, maximum number of shares, how much company can buy back? We know that 25% of the shares. So, chosen amount, that is whatever amount you have selected from step 1 and step 2 minimum amount upon number of shares. You will get the offer price. Number of shares we know 25% of total shares. So what we basically did, what was the difference between level 2 and level 3? Level 2, we calculated the payable amount, chosen amount, upon we calculated offer price. So we got number of shares because offer price was given. And here chosen amount upon number of shares, because offer price is not given and number of shares we have calculated by using rule of 25%. So we got the offer price also, we got the number of shares also. So this is how we calculate the buyback of shares when offer price is given or it's not given. That is difficulty level 2 and 3. Thank you.